This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Sir, watching po ngayon si NTF ELCAC spokesperson Yusek Lorraine Badoy, and meron po siya mga patanong po sa inyo. Number one, kaaway o kaibigan po ba ninyo ang CPP, NPA, NDF? Number two, ipagpapatuloy po ba ninyo ang mga magandang nagawa ng NTF ELCAC? At aasahan po ba na i-institutionalize po ninyo yung ating Barangay Development Program once na kayo po ang maging Pangulo ng Bansa?
Kakampi ko ba o kalaban ang CPP, NDF? Ang unang tanong. If they continue in their wish to overthrow the government by violent means, how can I be on their side? That's just not. Besides, the ideology that they are espousing no longer has much support from other countries who were the basic proponent. I'm talking about Russia and China of their ideology. So I do not. I have never really. In terms of my political thinking, I have to say I tend towards to being conservative, and the reason I do that is that it tends to be in public service or in government or when you are part of the state, you cannot take many risks. You cannot take many risks because it affects millions and millions of people. So you have to be conservative, kailangan maingat. And these kinds of revolutionary notions are not really to the benefit of our people. At least certainly not now. Maybe there was a time in history that was the best way to do things. It's not the best way to do things now. So no, I do not agree with their ideology and I do not agree with their methods.
Sir, second question, yung sa NTF ELCAC, ipagpapatuloy po ba ninyo ang mga programa nito? At
yung NTF ELCAC?
Opo, sir.
Magandang NTF ELCAC. And then even nabawasan yung kanilang budget, hindi naman nagbago. Nakakatulong talaga. I think we should continue that. And it is something that I can see may effect na medyo maganda. At nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na maghanap buhay, makapaghanap ng to rejoin society, and that is the most important thing. Because yung sinasabi, siguro naman kung meron talagang naghihirap, namumundok kasi wala ng pag-asa, mamumundok sila, lalabanan ng gobyerno. Kung ang gobyerno ay nagbibigay ng tamang serbisyo, mababawasan yung ganong klaseng grupo. So that NTF ELCAC is one way of doing that. Di ba, meron tayong dati Rebel Returnees Program, the same idea that those who nagsawa na makipaglaban sa gobyerno, naghahanap na lang ng disenteng trabaho para sa kanilang pamilya, kung mabigyan natin ng pagkakataon, mababawasan ang labanan. And that's really what that's what the NTF ELCAC is hoping to achieve. And I think it's making good headway. So ipagpatuloy natin yan. Hindi ko nasagot yung Barangay Development Program na sinasabi ninyo, na tinanong mo. Very simple lang. Ako, I always say, laki akong LGU. I really grew up as a politician, as a public servant in my time as governor. Because nung panahon ko ng governor, nakita ko talaga kung paano ang patakbo ng pamahalaan. Hindi yung nasa papel, hindi yung nasa libro, kung hindi ko ano yung nangyayari talaga on the ground sa pangkaraniwan na mamamayang Pilipino. Kaya I'm very, very supportive of all LGUs down to the barangay level. And I always say this, very simple. This applies to the LGUs, all LGUs, but more so sa barangay level. Pag tinanggal mo ang barangay, hindi na mararamdaman ng tao lahat ng ginagawa ng gobyerno. Na parang ang pakiramdam ng tao, wala ng gobyerno pag wala yung LGU. Kaya't kailangan patibayin ng LGU down to the barangay level. And this is done by, I guess this is done by, again, identifying where are the areas that we would like to develop, having an overall plan, and coming in and developing the smaller barangays and the smaller LGUs. With the Mandanas ruling coming in, that gives LGUs more funding, and that means that yung yung mga nangyayari ngayon o nangyayari dati, yung pagdating ng pagbigay ng kanilang pagbigay ng share, ng share ng barangay, ubus agad dahil maliit lang, napakaliit. Pag mga SK, pag dumating na sa SK, yung mga 10%, ay nagamit na, wala na, hindi na natin magagawa yung mga project ninyo. So what we are hoping to do with the Mandanas ruling is to give more opportunities to our LGUs kasi napakalaki yung mapupunta sa LGU na pera. So we have to balance that also with the development of the LGUs. We have to make sure that this windfall, which is what it really is, itong windfall na makukuha ng mga LGU, ay mapunta nga doon sa mga tamang lugar. Yun ang kailangan natin bantayan. Kailangan natin tutukan ng mabuti yan, magbigay tayo ng magandang guidance para sa mga LGU. Because although now we have what is called the 20% Development Fund, which is a mandated appropriation sa LGU, that only identifies certain sectors. Maybe we want to change that, and maybe we want to make sure that there's sufficient funds for the development of the different sectors within the LGU. But again, that has to come within the overall plan of the national government. The national government has to have an overall plan. And that way, you can tell each LGU, hanggang sa barangay level, this is what we expect from you. This is what you have to achieve if you want to be part of what our development program. If you want to take advantage of our development program, ito yung kailangan ninyong gawin. May pera naman kayo ngayon, ito yung gagawin natin, ito yung plano. So again, it comes down to having a plan, having a vision to where do you want to get to. And what we want, again, that will come with our economic plan. Saan ba tayo magde-develop? Dito ba sa agri? Dito ba sa manufacturing? Dito ba sa social services? Ano ba yung talagang gusto nating gawin? And that's what we will have to attend to when the Mandanas ruling becomes effective. And hopefully, this will give another good surge to the local economies and magbigay na naman ng trabaho, tama-tama pag-recover dito sa pandemya.
Sir, kung ikaw po ang maging Pangulo ng Bansa, kung kayo po ang makaupo na sa Malacanang, dadagdagan niyo po ba ang budget ng NTF ELCAC? Kasi sa 2022, laki ng tinapyas, sir. Bilyones po ang tinapyas para po sa
malaking binawasan. Kausap ko maraming mga sundalo. At sinasabi nila na sana mas malaki nga. Pero kahit nung nabawasan yung budget nung NTF ELCAC, ay sabi nila effective pa rin. So yes, if again, kagaya ng nabanggit ko kanina, we have to invest in success. Kung successful yung programa, doon tayo maglagay ng pondo. Pagpatuloy natin yung kanilang ginagawa. Yes, siyempre I'm not privy to the discussions as to how the budget was decided vis-a-vis NTF ELCAC. But we'll tignan natin because we don't know what the financial state the government will be in after the pandemic. So that's something that we have to look at very well and to give good guidance to our LGUs. One of the main complaints na LGUs always have is ang daming binibigay sa amin na bagong function. Wala namang bagong item, walang bagong pondo, walang training. So hindi magawa yung trabaho na inuutos ng bagong batas or whatever, no? So with this, even the process of devolution, we have to look into that also. Ano ba i-devolve? Ano ba hindi na dapat i-devolve? Anong dapat ibalik i-centralize ulit sa national government? Baka mas maganda kung centralize yung ibang sektor. So marami talaga tayong ayusin. Kung sakali man tayo maging mapalad, pero kahit sino man ang mahalal, ito ang haharapin ng problema. At siguro dito magsisimula ang mga solusyon na.
Pinag-uusapan pa rin ngayon ang tungkol sa COMELEC database hackang na binalita ng Manila Bulletin at ito'y hindi diretsahang inamin ng COMELEC. Hanggang sa kasalukuyan tikom pa rin ang bibig ng mga ito sa totoong nangyari. Kaya naman naglabasan ang iba't ibang espekulasyon mula sa mga netizens pati na rin ang mga personalidad na may mataas na katungkulan sa pamahalaan tulad ng retired Air Force Commander na si Romeo V. Pequis na kung saan nagbigay siya ng 3 maaring dahilan kung bakit na-hack ang database ng COMELEC. Samantala, sagutan naman ng magkabilang kampo ang nangyari kina COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guazon at sa vlogger economist na si Edwin Zamora nang punain ng huli ang tungkol sa English capability ng COMELEC Commissioner. Panuuri natin ang full video para sa iba pang detalye na magsisimula naman pagkatapos ng maiksing intro. Narito ang nasabing pahayag post ni former Air Force General Romeo V. Pequis. The hacking of COMELEC. The reported hacking of the COMELEC servers where vital voter information and sensitive data such as diagrams, passwords, IP addresses, etc. were downloaded is a very serious matter that borders on national security. The integrity of the 2022 elections may be compromised and the people's will may be subverted with such hacking. Despite the severity of the matter, however, the COMELEC leadership treated the matter very lightly. The COMELEC chairman is nowhere to be found to personally handle the delicate situation. In fact, only the spokesperson did answer some questions. There are 3 possible motives, all sinister, of the hacking. Number 1. Disrupt the election by creating confusion on election day. Number 2. Paralyze the automated system, thereby no election. And number 3. Cheating on election day. The seeming inaction of the COMELEC chairman and the very light treatment of the entire COMELEC of the matter bolsters the suspicion that the hacking of the servers was done at the instance of COMELEC itself. One thing is certain in the hacking. There will be no disruption of the elections, no paralysis of the automated system, and there will be no cheating in the election without the hand of the COMELEC on these sinister scenarios. COMELEC and Smartmatic may change the passwords and IP addresses anytime, the voter information, as is, cannot be used for cheating, etc., so disruption and paralysis of the system cannot materialize. Only cheating can, and this can only be done, again, by COMELEC in cahoots with Smartmatic, the automated systems provider. The cheating was easily done in 2016 without traces, not through the source codes as was the contention, but through the substitution of votes during transmission via secret servers and IP addresses. Disruption and paralysis of the election will only benefit President Duterte, whose tenure will be extended or through RevGov. But President Duterte is averse to extension or RevGov. Unless he has changed his mind now. So, cheating is the only viable reason for the hacking. It may have been done as a smokescreen to cover the tracks of COMELEC, as it did in 2016. It will provide COMELEC with plausible deniability for any cheating since the hackers can be pointed to as the culprits. Watch out though. This is not anymore just a VP contest for Marcos and his multitude of die-hard supporters. It is the presidency. The numbers in the surveys tell the score, which indicates the election is done except for the counting. The numbers are so huge and the margins very convincing that even if all the votes of all the other presidential candidates are combined, they cannot take away the presidency from Marcos. Beware of the fury of the scorned. While the Marcos voters took the cheating in 2016 in stride, they are not doing so now. In fact, they are coming out now in full force as shown by their increasing numbers to express their indignation at having been cheated. Beware of the fury of the cheated soldiers, policemen, teachers, health workers, OFW, farmers, fishermen, ordinary workers, Christians, Muslims, rebels or not, etc. The burning pent-up emotions of these die-hard Marcos supporters cannot be stopped from skinning alive the instigators, facilitators, and executors of the cheating. It is therefore now the time for the COMELEC to redeem itself and put to rest all questions on its integrity, perform its mandate, and ensure the people's will is not subverted. Now is also the time for President Duterte to perform his promise of an honest election, a legacy he will long be remembered, one that may even cover up the shortcomings of his administration, and that he may be treated kindly for such by the next administration. Kaugnay pa rin sa tuluyang pagbalyak ni retired Air Force sa COMELEC, narito pa ang isa niyang post. Meron daw maangas na namboboljak na babaeng komisyoner ng COMELEC ang naghamon ng debate sa mga nag-attend ng pahiring niya. Up at Harvard Law graduate daw siya at PhD pa sa English. Parang gusto itong patulan ng isang retiradong sundalo na graduate lamang ng BS degree sa kabundukan sa norte. Ano kaya? Nak-ops, wag na lang. Nakakawalang puri. Yung CAFGU squad leader na lang sa Cadiz ang itapat natin. Nag-ugat ang pasaring ni former Commander Romeo V. Paquiz sa pagpuna ng isang vlogger na si Edwin Jamara at sa paghimay nito sa English ni COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guazon sa kanyang vlog. Kaugnay sa comment ni Mr. Edwin Jamora, ito naman ang sagot ni Rowena Guazon. Our decision isn't out yet and already some hound dogs are out. Check ang my level of English, seriously. Do they have PhD in English? Don't dare me. Baka patulan ko kayo, iiyak ang amo nyo. Ito naman ang naging sagot ni Mr. Edwin Jamora sa mga fans ni COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guazon. Shoo nga, defenders are way off the mark. Bossing Daddy probably has no idea that English is the language in the Philippine courtroom. We're just going to accept the way it is. Insisting that it be in Tagalog won't work, although we've heard lawyers argue in the Senate and I think in the Supreme Court, using Tagalog. But the official language in Philippine courtrooms is English. Thus, it behooves law students to learn to speak good English and hone their public speaking skills. And given that we have a lot of BPO companies in the Philippines, they have a perfect place to hone their communication skills by spending a year or two with them. Now, do you need advanced English to tackle law? As I said, English is the language in the Philippine courtroom, and fluency with the language is what you need, and using advanced English makes for a learned and well-read person. You'd be more appreciated if you're the former and could deliver it clear for the audience to understand. Can you imagine a trial lawyer having great difficulty articulating her thoughts because of limited English? Those who like to flap their wings that they are UP graduates and speak lousy English, do you realize how social media pokes fun at Shunga and Madam Paul is?